Smart 24, driving business.
Good evening and many thanks for joining us. It's good to have you here watching Smart 24 television. It's a new twist and of course new discussions this evening that are rotating quite around the education sector in the country. I'm Joram Paul Sonko. Welcome on board to the point where we analyze economic policies, and among this which we want to understand how they impact you, a normal Ugandan, a citizen, as well as those who are indulging in business activities. Well, our focus this time around is we are analyzing the status of various academic programs at Uganda's universities. This comes at a time when the country is awash by the news that were trending on social media in the past few days in regards to the fact that we are having universities, or quite a number of courses that are offered at universities are expired. Well, this has sparked off a debate from most of the educationists, as well as parents and students who have passed via different universities, sharing their thoughts, their grievances, and their dissatisfaction in regards to the fact that maybe they paid money for courses that weren't highly recognized. But of course, you come to think of it, that most of these particular ones come behind the fact that there was one of the few students in the country who were denied jobs abroad in relation to the fact that their courses are not recognized by the Cambridge setting. And joining me this evening to discuss more of this particular current affairs in regards to the space or crisis that we're in the education of the country, Professor Eddie Tukamshaba, who is joining us from Determinants University. Good evening. And many thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Good evening, viewers and listeners. I'm glad to be on this show, and we are going to share experiences, share knowledge in order to understand what is happening in as far as supposedly expired programs in various universities in Uganda.
Okay.
So my name is Professor Eddie Tukamshaba, the Vice Chancellor, Uganda Technology and Management University. I empower both students and academic staff to conduct research with the due ability to create new knowledge and improve the business environment where they are coming from. And the UTAM has been in existence for 9 years now, fully accredited to offer different programs by National Council for Higher Education.
Okay. Well, Professor, as we look into the current situation of the various conversations regarding the expired courses, expired programs. This brings me to the idea of wanting to understand what is the difference between a program offered at the university and a course that someone applies for. Are they the same things, or they just belong in the same context of education?
Thank you. I have been fascinated and surprised by the media failing to differentiate between a course and a program. A course is a single unit within a program.
Yes.
For example, we have a program, Bachelor of Business Administration. That is a program. Principles of Management or Principles of Marketing, a single unit is a course. And so many courses, depending on the minimum standards required for a program make a program and differentiates a program from the other. So basically, a program is a purposeful, structured set of learning experiences that leads to a qualification. A course is just one unit that helps the learner or the graduate to achieve or to acquire a qualification.
That's the course.
That is a course.
Okay.
So many courses make a program. Yes.
So that's where we have course units.
Course units, very good. And minimum load required to have a final qualification in a given discipline chosen.
So that means what we are talking about currently, what we are alleging to talk about is
programs
that are expired.
But of course, if a program, but I don't agree with expiry, if a program is running and supposedly is expired, then the cost units within it need also to be looked at, because cost units make up a program. That is key. So for example, each program has a minimum number of credits required. For example, a diploma is 240 credit units. And the minimum credit unit of any course, according to the regulation, is 2. A course can have 2 credit units, and the maximum is 5. So depending on the program structure, then you need to fulfill at least the minimum standards as per guidance of National Council for Higher Education.
Okay. And so when you look at this, what are the determinants, besides the fact that you've mentioned diplomas and everything, what are the other determinants that you look at if you are weighing a course, because rather a program? Because when you look at the fact that this is actually putting us in a condition where everyone is now doubtful of the programs they seek for or apply for at the university. How do we, because someone once asked, was actually asking on Twitter recently, that why do we have programs that are expiring in the first place?
No, programs are developed by different universities based on the need. It could be the job market or the change of business environment. For professional programs like medicine, the need is already there. We need doctors. And therefore, a degree leading to a qualification of being a medical doctor is already known. But a program may be overtaken by change in business environment. And if the university sees that it has no demand, and of course, from the marketing point of view, a program is designed based on the needs of the population and prevailing circumstances within a given country. And if that need, if the program cannot fulfill or provide for the needs for which it was created, then it ceases. It will have no value. And the litmus test is the number of students or applicants or individuals who apply to enroll on that program. So the popularity of the program determines the need
to put it up there.
To put it there. And if a program, for example, credited for 5 years, continuously does not attract more than 5 students, then that program, though accredited, the university can decide not to run it. And create a new one that meets the current demand in the market.
Okay.
So we, for example, Uganda Technology and Management University,
All right.
we phase out programs that are not demand-driven or market-driven. In areas of IT, information technology, computing, things are changing within a short period of time.
So you have to,
and
to move
therefore,
with the trends.
you need to move with the trend. And courses within a program that are not relevant at that particular point,
Okay.
you drop them. And we require our lecturers to continue improving, updating the courses they teach within the program, so that when the 5-year period that is provided by National Council reaches, then it is easy to update the program and therefore submit it to National Council for Higher Education even before the date when it lapses. And I don't want to use the word expired.
Okay.
Why? Because this is not a product per se that has an expiry date beyond which it cannot be consumed. That the graduates who went through this learning experience have ceased to use or to their skills, or the skills and competencies acquired have ceased to be. So you cannot use the word expired. And I would suggest that the National Council for Higher Education uses words like the program due for reassessment.
Okay.
Other than saying expired. Because I don't believe that programs expire.
Okay. So what we want to understand is, first, there is a document that was moving on Monday. This document was coming in from the National Council for Higher Education, but not the National Council for Higher Education in Uganda. It had a Cambridge encryption onto it.
Right.
This brings me back to the attention of the fact that when you look at most of the international schools in Uganda, they have two curriculums they follow. There are students who follow the Cambridge curriculum. Then there are students who actually follow the Ugandan curriculum.
Correct.
So if you're to look at the university side, are we still following the older paper from Cambridge, or what the United Kingdom offered to us in the initial stages of starting up college education in the country, or we are strictly moving with what our ministry is giving us?
Yeah, we don't move with we try to benchmark.
Okay.
But we don't craft our programs based on Cambridge.
All right.
But benchmarking and understanding what your graduates are able to do that are meeting the minimum standards at an international level is put into consideration. And that's why when National Council comes in as a regulator, it sets minimum standards. And if you read that that document from Cambridge, they are also quoting National Council for Higher Education.
True.
And this information is there.
Yes.
For Ugandans, you should be able to go to National Council for Higher Education and you choose a university you are interested in, and the programs will be there.
Yes.
So this information has been there in the public eye. For example, for us, how were we able to meet all the requirements to have all our programs accredited? We have governance bodies which check each other. The student body, the guild, students are able, before applying, they have the capacity, or they are supposed to check the National Council. What is the status of the program? Is it active? Is it under review? Or, for lack of what to move with what is being used, is it expired? Which I said I don't believe that a program can expire. And I think National Council for Higher Education has already clarified that so long as a program has been running and it has been accredited before, it cannot be
expired.
It cannot expire, and therefore the graduates with qualifications on that program cannot be rejected. It cannot be seen as void or not relevant in the current market, because skills acquired cannot expire. You can upgrade.
Yes.
But of course, when you look at professional qualifications, they require again certification. Like, I think, continuous professional development, where, for example, the graduates of law, they require to go for an etc. course at the LDC,
yes,
in order to qualify to be practicing law,
yes,
to be able to practice law. So if you choose not to go to LDC, you cannot practice law.
Because you don't have that certificate.
You don't have that certificate. And that's where regulation comes in.
Okay.
And National Council does the regulation, because universities must meet the minimum required standards. And what I didn't tell you that I am also the institutional and program reviewer for National Council for Higher Education.
Okay.
And I have done it also for Namibia, National Council for Education, Higher Education, and also Namibia Qualifications Authority.
Okay.
So it is clear that a program cannot expire if it was accredited before.
Okay.
What needs to be done is to reassess, because circumstances change. You need either to drop some courses, add new ones, and therefore update.
Very true. And try to change some of the few things in there.
Exactly.
So I want to understand something though, because when you mentioned the fact that the National Council for Higher Education has to set, these regulations, the minimum. Briefly, what are some of those key standards that the National Council for Higher Education looks at for a program to be accepted to continue running?
Yeah, there are a number of things. A program, I told you, it is like a process. And therefore, key program document, for example, is required that it has a name. A program must have a name and the corresponding award. I have had some students or people say, my degree, I'm studying, I'm doing my first degree, and the qualification you have is yours.
Yes.
The award is for the university. Senate, for example, has the authority to revoke.
Okay.
If at a certain time they find out that it was given in an error. So the degree or qualification can be revoked. So the program rationale.
Okay.
Why should you create a new program within the environment you have? The program description. Okay. The program goals, objectives, and learning outcomes, admission requirements. So it is a lot of stuff that need to be looked at by those who are creating or designing programs. And of course, minimum credit requirements and level of the program within Uganda Higher Education Qualification Framework.
Okay.
And the detailed course course descriptions. And of course, a course must have a name, a course code, credit units, and how that unit contributes towards the overall objective or intended learning outcomes of the program.
Okay.
So each course unit must, for example, define the competencies. What, after completing the course in a given semester, which is mainly calculated based on 15 weeks, because the semester is 17 weeks, 15 weeks are for learning, and 2 weeks are for examinations. So depending on the number of credit units, then you need to provide detail. The different topics you cover in each week, and the guiding principles of the course, and the reference materials, and so on. So it is not a simple thing, and that could explain probably why, because it is rigorous, it takes a lot of effort. It becomes a tedious process to update or to create a new one. Okay. Creation of a new program is more demanding than working on already existing program.
Okay.
I hope I have answered your question.
But of course, if you're just joining us online, you can as well share with us the discussions, as the stream is going to be cut for the moment. But we return in the second part of the discussion at 7:30. We will definitely be streaming again. But you can share with us on the same matter in relation to what you think should be done to ensure that we do not have such case scenarios happening. Like Professor has mentioned, by the way, we do not have anything to do with a course, rather a program expiring. And I love the fact that he has broken for us the fact that there is a big difference between a program and a course. And of course, what is offered is a program. So under a program is where you have the courses, or what you call the course units that you are offering, or what you write in your examinations. So when we return after the break, we speak big in regards to the government giving universities deadline to review these courses, amongst the key other conversations. Remember, on GOTV, we are channel 320, DSTV is channel 372, and for those getting us via the free-to-air decoders, you can as well get us there. But also remember to download the smart the smart digital app. Here you can easily get us and watch television as well as listen to radio, smart FM and NBS Cordeo, wherever you are. So it is something that you can easily get. It's just the smart digital on the go. We will be returning shortly with more discussions relating to analyzing the various programs that are offered at universities in the country.